All right, Dad. So, here we are. We're in Tanzania, continent of Africa. Have you been here before?
Yes, I've been here a couple of times. I love Dar es Salaam.
So, you came to Africa originally in what year?
I came to Kenya, East Africa, in August of 2012.
Okay. And what was your motivation for leaving America, coming to Africa?
I wanted to get away from America to see what other parts of the world were like, and I hit on Africa because I wanted to see how black people live in other parts of the world.
So originally you went to Kenya.
Yes, I was in Mombasa, Kenya. I landed in Nairobi, then I came to Mombasa, Kenya.
And you ended up staying in Mombasa for what, 7, 8 years?
I lived in Mombasa from 2012 to 2018 without leaving Africa. I never visited America for 6 straight years.
Yeah. Okay. So then you came back home last year.
Yeah.
Did you spend the whole 2019 in America?
No. I spent about 8 months in America, and then I went back to Kenya for 3 months, and I came back to Georgia, and then I left again for Tanzania in July of 2020.
Oh, wow. I didn't know you had done that much back and forth. I didn't know you went to Kenya again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, it didn't seem like you liked Georgia a lot. You were tolerating it.
Yeah, Georgia was all right. It's weird being in the South after growing up in California for so long, being West Coast.
So even with that, right, looser kind of personality kind of person, was it an easy adjustment for you to come to Africa, being from California?
Africa was hard. Africa was hard because, the weed thing,
Oh, just mostly weed.
Yeah.
I'm talking about living though.
Living for me, it was in a small adjustment. Toilets on the ground, that type of thing, access to fast foods. Just the sheer ability of access is different in Africa, but easily adjusted.
But once that was passed, you're kind of like, this is obviously the place for me because you stayed for so long without.
Yeah, obviously,
Like
the place for me. I really love seeing the progress of black people and watching how black societies are ran, governmented, and regimented from all levels of education and.
Well, like there's a black person in charge of everything.
Right.
Despite how it's going.
Right.
That makes sense.
I enjoy that. I enjoy watching the success or the failures, but
It's the building.
Just the whole building up of the culture and everything. It was very nice. It is very nice.
For me, right, or maybe both of us, did any type of, like the fact that you're descendant of slaves, like captives from Africa, play a part in you picking here to leave America too, initially?
Definitely. I mean, I could have went anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
But I chose Africa because that's the continent of my ancestry, And I really wanted to know. I picked East Africa out of just the sense of speaking English.
Yeah.
And Kenya's economy was very, very nice. So
for me, I thought, doing ancestry, DNA, all this stuff, trying to like use my knowledge of my family, the few older people that I have left, to try to figure out more things about my heritage, made it seem more important than it ever had before. Like, I'm not going to Africa like as a tourist. I'm going for some type of point, at least for me. Because I've had my passport since 2017. It's the first time I've left the country. Been to Mexico, but didn't really stamp or do anything. So this is the first time I have to go through customs, immigration, blah, 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 to, go somewhere. And yeah, it did, for me, more impactful. Because, I want to move to Europe for college. But that doesn't work out. And you get older and you think, oh, well, maybe everything happens for a reason. You come to a place like this, being in Tanzania, where as far as the ancestry is concerned, we're West African, But coming to a place like this and seeing the opportunity, the development, how the people move around, it's like, yeah, why would you try to make something happen anywhere else? When it could be so impactful here, like why open the 15th mall in America.
It makes sense.
It doesn't seem as worth it or whatever when you see, yeah, like you're saying, all black people.
It makes sense. Just the minimal impact that I've had from my I would call them rudimentary basketball experience. I mean, I think I'm a good player. I always have been, but to be able to come here and start coaching and to give them the knowledge of the stuff that I've learned from other coaches and programs that I've been in, and to spread that around, it seems like it's really appreciated, on a player level. And some coaches, shout out to Coach Anthony Ojukwu from KPA in Kenya, he's really, really instrumental in my knowledge of basketball and coaching and how to handle referees and stuff like that. So it's been nice.
I like it a lot, like everything you said, but I did think, for whatever reason, maybe like Western brainwashing. Coming to Africa, oh yeah, will be, yeah, you're coming home, motherland, blah, blah, blah. I didn't feel like that at all. It's still very, very foreign. Like, if anything, being here shows me even more, yeah, you're really, really California girl. Just how you dress, how you walk, how you interact with other people. It's not as simple and common as you make it in America, how it seems.
Transition-wise.
Yeah, so even like hanging out with Betty all week. You're from Kenya, which would be like me hanging out in Vegas. But they're treating you like you're a different kind of person. You're a different type of. It's not the same.
Yeah, transition-wise, coming to Africa for African American is different, because there's not a lot of us that come and do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and especially people from, our economic level.
Yeah, socioeconomic.
You know what I mean? So it's very different, but as well, it's very fulfilling enough. And for me, it was easy to fit in because I look like this guy's cousin, or I look like I could be from that tribe, or something like that. So you fit in readily. If they don't recognize it until you start talking, and then you stand out like.
So immediately, same thing.
Like a TV star.
We're in there with Zeddy and Linda. Shout out to Linda, her family owns the estate that we're staying on. It's very nice. I'm going to put all these pictures and stuff on the internet so you guys can see it, because it's an Airbnb, so you can come and stay here too. Very cool family, nice people. But even where I'm in the kitchen, I'm cooking stuff with them, showing them, oh yeah, ancestors said I'm this and that. They're like, nah, you look Egyptian. You're not that. Oh, this is Zeddy, my fish is alive. I'm like, I wish I was Egyptian, that would be cool.
No, it's Egyptian because they have all that Arabic in it, and you got all that white in you.
So yeah, it mixes out the same. So when I'm on the street and I think that girl is mixed, no, that's an Indian girl.
Right.
So I get it.
Right.
So, but.
We're West African.
Mm-hmm.
I'm American.
Mm-hmm.
We're West African. So.
But like you were saying with the socioeconomic thing, I find it to be the same, like being a professional worker in America. The only African, that's what I'm telling you too, you ever see or have interaction with are Nigerians. So they're coming to our country with some level of education. That family is not the poorest poor in Nigeria. So it's the same as us coming here.
In a way.
In a way, like that sort of exchange of, oh yeah, I have a little bit of something here, I can get more opportunity there.
I think for African Americans, we're missing out on the fact that the knowledge that you have there isn't so common here.
Yeah.
And even if you're just doing a regular 9 to 5, if you're doing it somewhere, then you have more experience than anybody here has.
Yeah.
So whatever gifts are, whatever job you've been in for 20 years, if you bring that information and that knowledge here and apply it to the economy here, you're going to be successful.
So perfect example of that when we went to the store next door where you can get money, because everybody does cell phone thing. They talk about it in America, and I've seen documentaries, but seeing it in person is really, really crazy. So they said Africa hopped over the whole house phone, landline thing, went straight to cell phone, straight to mobile banking, so it sped them up. Like, we went through the whole transition in America years of it,
Right.
and they just overnight hop on the cell phone where they got M-Pesa, all these places you can stop or call and get money out.
Right.
So we go to one, and this lady has like secretarial services. You can photocopy, do this, do that. I'll take your passport pictures, lamination stuff. She's also selling like birthday kind of. It's the hodgepodge type of shop. So imagine any secretary in America, black woman, you retired or you worked for a secretary 10 years in any business. You can come here and do the same thing, and she's clearly supporting herself and her family with that.
Definitely. Like I said, just the sheer organizational business skills that you might have, how to organize and then platoon out and parcel out the services is vital here. And you can definitely make money here if that's what you want to do is come and live here. There's always a spot for you because the experience you have is not common. Even though it might be common there, it's not common here.
So, worse from that spectrum, right? Because that's what I worked to get to. So I'm going to go bottom of the spectrum where I came from, 115th Avalon. You go out the side of my house with the projects, all of them, Nickerson Gardens, Jordan Downs, whatever. Go outside of this where it's fucking the same shit.
Right.
So, those people, you think you have it good because you're paying $50, $10 a month to live in the worst parts of America. You can come here and live like this.
Yeah, I mean, if you have any type of self-esteem issues, they'll be cured when you come here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But I'm just saying ease of living, like the whole idea of struggling and I'm never gonna make it, or I gotta go to the NBA to have a house, or I gotta go to college, or
you have to come to Africa to experience the blackness of it. It's invigorating, and it's a mental tonic to ease your woes about your situation. Come here and see how it is in your motherland. You have to. I'm not gonna say that it's as religiously meaningful as say like Muslims going on the Hajj.
Oh, to Mecca, yeah.
But I do believe that it is personally, for a personality, it is vital that you come here and experience it. Wherever you're from in the world, if you're Black, African descent, you should come to Africa.
I can say it in a way for the West. You know, because even though I go to, you guys make sure I have Black experience, I go to Marcus Garvey, know about the Black kids. I know about way more things than the average Black kid knows about, especially early. You know, we're talking elementary, first 2-3 grades, I'm knowing about my history, so I don't have to go through the full 12 years of brainwash.
Right.
George Washington, only Black people just popped up in slavery, then you have Martin Luther King, then it's not an issue anymore. To undo, that could be undone in a day.
Undone in a day.
If you come here.
Undone in a day. I mean, when we went to the National Museum of Tanzania, and just to see from how they had it charted out from prehistoric times, but they didn't really do a good enough job of letting you know that prehistoric times and first man is all from Africa. They didn't do a good enough job of putting that connection together. But still in all, just to see the technology that happened in Africa from time after time to the progress, that's meaningful.
For me, going to all the museums I'm going to since I've been a kid, you did a really good job at that. My grandparents, my mom did a really good job at that, always going to museums. Can't think of a year in my life where I haven't been to somebody's museum, 2 or 3. Across America with the College Tour GYO, Black History Museum, Civil Rights Museum, Smithsonian.
Right.
Even though this museum was not that nice, not that well organized, it's a different type of feeling. I'm going inside a museum that's all about me.
Right. It makes a difference.
From fucking dinosaur times.
Right.
And they're showing me, oh, in the 1300s, this Black person was doing this, even if it was fucked up, tip.
Yeah.
Selling pleasure. At least you're showing me I was moving around and shaking throughout the world.
Yeah.
Because when you grew up a Black kid in America, it's like you didn't exist.
Before
slavery.
Yeah.
Like they picked you up from nowhere, they saved your life. That's how they even make it seem.
And then you were invisible until King.
Invisible.
No Du Bois, no Booker T.
Not for real.
Yeah.
They make it even the slavery times. Like they don't want to teach you about the revolt. Like everybody was just calm, slavery was cool, 400 years, everybody was chilling. Then they got mad, we had the Civil War, Abe Lincoln fucked it all up with his attitude.
Booker T. Washington is invisible in history, in American history. And that,
if you're talking about in public school.
And that's a travesty. Yeah, in public school especially.
If you're talking about public school.
In public school especially because he was an educator, so he should be deified to a certain extent.
The fact that I'm watching some movie, fuck, I can't think of the name, but I'll remember and I'll link it. It's showing me that this African guy that came from slavery, did this and that, fought for his freedom, was the nigga who started public schools. Why don't I know that? Like, why is that ingrained into my head, this African guy is a freedom of slaves? Come on now. Father of public school in America.
That's what you did when you deal with that pale-faced version of history.
Of history, but if you go outside of it and you go all the way back, right, and you learn about the Inquisition or the Moors and Spain getting kicked out and all this different shit, Crusades.
But look how close you have to go. You say going back to the 12th, 13th, 14th century for that Look how far you have to go back to find out that the black man was the originator
Public school.
of school.
Yeah.
You don't have to go. You don't have to go far back for
No, but
that.
I'm talking about to figure out why things are that way. Because once you learn anything else outside of what you know in school, Black history, Booker T, Marcus Garvey, you're like, what the fuck? Why did they teach me this, right? So you have to go outside of that. For me, a person that likes history, and see, oh yeah, well, till the victor goes the spoils. So when you win the shit, you get to write it however you want.
Please.
And imagine how the world would be if we got to write things. How people would look at shit.
How much is Toussaint forgotten?
Toussaint. Not even that. What about the new immigrants that come to America? Mexican, Russian, Canadian, wherever the fuck you want to come from. Why don't you know that you can only do this because of Martin Luther King and civil rights? People were getting their asses beat, and before that, nobody wants to immigrate either.
They don't want to know that.
They don't want to teach you it. But at least if you knew it and you come over, you have a different perspective of the people here and what's going on.
America's been the land of the immigrants. I mean, it's the European immigrant. It hasn't been the African, Chinese immigrant, Japanese immigrant. It's been very hard for people like that to get there in those times. In so much as modern times, technology and just the advent of credit and money has allowed foreigners to proliferate the United States educational system, more so than it was back in the 50s, 60s, even 70s, I mean, there was a very limited number of those type of students in our universities, but now it's an overwhelming amount.
Yeah. Or just the idea of travel, like for sure, even for my age group, the internet has made the world way smaller. So coming to a place like this isn't such as crazy ideas maybe it would be for my grandma's generation or my mom's generation.
What makes you coming here right now so crazy is, of course, the pandemic.
Yeah.
But speaking of that, let's touch on that. What about the pandemic here in Tanzania? What do you see from that? Let me ask you that.
So for me, the pandemic here, as opposed to coming from America and California, hotbed of it, right? And then I had some time during the pandemic with you guys in Georgia. Seems like we're spending a lot of time giving out the be afraid, instead of telling people what to do to be okay. Because here, I haven't seen them. I've seen 2 people with masks. And like you said, it's a professional. Random dude, needle on a haystack, walking with a mask. Other than that, everybody's out. Women, children, old people, kids who went to the market, wall-to-wall people downtown LA. Heat out of this world. And everybody's fine. But on the other side of it, like I was explaining to you the other day, I've gone to nice restaurants in America, Hollywood, $200-$300 for my meal, and they don't come to my table and wash my hands before and after I eat. It's not this. We're at the reggae club, on the beachfront club. They got a little station I can wash my hands. I don't have to walk to the bathroom to wash my hands.
It's right near your table.
It's right near everybody where they're eating, doing stuff. So it seems like if this is how it was already, then their culture was set up for something to happen where it could be mitigated a little bit.
It is like that. Even when I was in Kenya in 2012, hand washing is done before every meal and after every meal. At your table, hand washing.
So their culture seems to be more.
It's leaning towards that, and that's especially in this part of East Africa. That's the Islamic.
Yeah, and you can tell.
The Islamic influence of cleanliness.
In their house, in the front, in the main house here, they have their dining room. There's a sink in their dining room.
Every dining room since I came to Africa, every dining room and sitting room has hand washing stations there.
When we went to the other restaurant, that was clearly like a Muslim restaurant, the second place in Dar on the street.
Islam right there, yeah.
Yeah, not sitting outside on the street, but when we went inside to eat with all the Muslim girls.
What you saying?
They have 4 sinks.
Yeah.
I go to the sink station, wash your hands.
Yeah.
I'm standing waiting because there was 2 people, and it looked like it was a Muslim guy and his wife. They were talking, and I was just waiting. He's like, like hurry up, go wash your hands. Like I'll scoot over.
Yeah, it's part of their culture.
So it's part of their, even seeing people sit on the ground eating their food while they're still cleaning their hands with bowls of soap and shit.
Yeah.
Everybody in the McDonald's drive-thru, I could have been touching my face all day. Worked on my job, got my kids in the car, did my laundry. I'm about to get my fries and eat them in my car. McDonald's not even giving me a towelette.
No. COVID. So yeah, maybe it's set up different, but I don't see anybody really giving a fuck about it around here. And I've been here since July. It's November, middle of November now, and It's not going down like that around here. So, and it has something to do with the personal cleanliness level, and has something to do with hand washing stations, and it's got a lot to do with attitude and perspective. You know what I'm saying? So if you're thinking positive, everything's positive, positive things will happen. And I believe that on a wholesale basis, no matter what you do in life. And that's how it is here, and it's been adopted by the country, and it's working really well.
It seems to be. And to see people, if we're going to talk about economics,
right,
with so much less access, and they're still better off than people. You have a house, a legitimate house, running water, heat, gas, electricity, all of that shit, and you still got COVID because you're touching your eyes and digging in nothing.
People out here living in mud houses and stuff like that.
And they're fine.
And they're fine, and that's the difference. It's perspective, and it's cleanliness.
Another thing I have to say, you cannot ignore the food.
Yeah, Whole Foods.
Because I was really, really scared, and almost now it's kind of embarrassing, but it just goes with the Western media and what they teach you, to eat meat in a foreign country. Like, no, I don't want to do it, blah, 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 no, I'm just going to eat rice, beans, and vegetables the whole time I'm there. You get here, people killed that meat today, this morning, when they're selling it. I'm going to Ralph's. Even if I'm going to spend money, trick off, I'm going to Trader Joe's, Sprouts, whatever. I don't know where the fuck that chicken came from, how long it's been in here, how long it sat in the truck before it got here, all these details.
At least half a year.
Come on.
At least half. Every chicken you've eaten, every piece of fish you've eaten here got caught this week. Got killed this week. That cow you're eating, you know you don't eat cow, but that beef I'm eating got killed this month.
Even yesterday, I went to the market twice. We took the judge thing. We went earlier in the day to get the chickens and stuff. We went later on at night to try to get movies, whatever. The meat shop is empty.
It's finished with meat.
There's maybe one thing hanging left. Whatever. I couldn't sell it. Tomorrow, and he told me, oh yeah, tomorrow it'll be on sale. It'll be cheaper.
Tomorrow it'll be mincemeat.
So that is weird. The fact that everybody's eating fresh fruit. All the time, fresh juice. I go in the store, I'm like, there was only one packet of M&M's. The Snickers thing was all the way full. Why is there any candy, cookies, cakes? She's like, because they say it's bad for you. Like, even kids, you won't see any kids eating candy because it's so preachy to them. Oh, sugar's bad for you, sugar's bad for you.
They won't eat it.
So
they won't eat it, and plus that shit is so expensive. But diabetes is rife in Africa because, and high blood pressure, they eat too much salt here.
Salt and oil in their food, how they prepare their food.
Too much salt.
But even when we're cooking in the hospital, I'm making fun of them, like, oh, high cholesterol across Black universe, from America to Africa.
Yeah.
Niggas gotta put a douse of oil, butter on their food to get it right. Yeah. It's our culture, I guess.
That's how it is. But as far as my joy of being here, my ease of living, it's perfect. I advise anybody who's making any kind of money anywhere else, if you're getting a check somewhere, bring that shit here and live right. Live right and live without fear and chill out. There's not a police car that's going to jump behind you and throw a red light on around you. It's not going to happen.
That's the other thing. And you would think coming to an African country, especially East Africa, scary Africa, the police presence is going to be insane. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be the most intimidating thing about them is their outfits.
Yeah. It's cool here. It's cool here unless you're outright blatant Al Capone, Bonnie and Clyde type of nigga. You know what I mean? Everything is on the level. It's straight. They have venues, places where you can do your thing at. Ain't nobody really watching you, stressing on you. So relax with all that and just come and enjoy, man. Because especially here in Tanzania, you're at a different level of comfort.
And I would say even people would think, because that's what people were telling me, oh, you're doing this and that because you don't have a kid. But I would think, even if I have a kid in America, let's say I got an apartment or I'm kind of struggling, whatever, government housing, why wouldn't I come to a place where I can try to own something? And here, maybe I can afford to send my kids to the best school.
The woman said yesterday that she can make a budget for 1 million shillings and we'd have money left over. Remember she told you that?
So that's $450 a month for a family.
Some grown woman.
To eat, for entertainment, traveling around, taxis.
Money left over to save for a car.
So
you decide how you want to live.
Yeah, and I think the number one thing that maybe has been playing in my mind all the time I've been here, a little sentence I guess is like, is it more important where you have what you have or what you have? And I feel like for me, it's way more important what I have than where I have it.
You better believe it. You better believe it. With the little bit of money I got, I have to work hard in the States to survive still. And I get enough without working to live here very, very peaceably.
And then outside of that, if you are a person, even in America, that, oh, I don't have this or that, but I got 3 jobs, or I got a state job, and I got a side hustle, I do Uber, blah, blah, blah. People out here have G-Wagons. I've seen G-Wagons, Range Rovers, every stripe of BMW, X5s. If that's how you want to live.
I don't think there's not money around here.
You can be living like that too, but the perception that people painted is so crazy. Like, oh, you have money, and after they're kidnapping you, and they're killing you, blah, blah, blah. I saw 2 girls, a Range Rover, 2 girls like they're in LA.
Have you felt any threat since you've been here?
No. Most threatening was the sex pest.
Yeah, that's just people wanting to get at you, but you got that in America like
and
that.
Yeah, in America, I'd say in America more aggressive.
Yeah.
We all, they're like, hey, bitch.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah, there's nothing to worry about here. You're living definitely an exclusive life, so.
And I'll have to say, you don't know everything, right? But seems like, at least in public, women get treated equal respect as far as moving around and stuff. Maybe in private.
It's a point of fact
here
in East Africa and in West Africa where Ms. Sirleaf Johnson from Liberia, presidents and stuff, it's a point of fact that women are afforded an opportunity to do well. I mean, especially coming up. I mean,
no, I don't mean like that, that's great. I'm saying about moving around outside by yourself, going to the store, doing this in fear of something happening to you.
No, you're doted upon in society. You got people watching out for you. All you got to do is raise your hand up. You'll have 3 or 4 people at your beck and call.
So the car breaks down.
That's what I was going to say. You can see by that as an example that all you got to do is go like this.
Car breaks down. We're in a residential area. There's no like street lights or anything like that out here, but we're in a nice area. There's still like huts and stuff mixed in with the rich houses too, which is interesting, right? Because you would think in America, people that rich don't want 4 people living next to them because it's dangerous. Here people are chilling. I go to the end of the street, way this way, way that way. 2 guys come. One guy stops his motorcycle. He looks. He's trying to speak Swahili to me. I'm saying, I don't speak Swahili. He's like, whatever. He walks past me, goes to the situation with the car. Other guy comes. Walking. He says, can't speak English either, but he's like, hey, I'm happy to help you, my sister. And he walks to the car. I've been stranded in America. Police pass me.
How many people ended up helping us?
At least 10, 11. Little boys, everybody rang up. I thought they left. They come back with shovels, tools.
It was an incredible display of community.
Yes.
Community tenders. Nobody wanted anything.
That I've never seen. I don't get to see that.
Nobody wanted anything. They just came and they helped and got us out of that situation. They took off.
Mm-hmm.
They left and
back to their day.
And we're happy to help, and that took at least an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't, and everybody got mud and dirt and water.
Yes. So it's not like, oh, I just pulled over real quick and let this person use my cell phone. They really had to get in it. Like neighbors are stopping, rolling up their pants, taking off their shoes on the side. You know, it was a serious thing. Something that
I wish I was so unfortunate to be wearing white pants that day. I wish I would have been dressed more appropriately for the weather, so I could have got out and got dirty too. That was something I'd regret. But
the rain here gets crazy with the road.
Oh well, the thought that counts. We still had to pay our Uber guy though.
We did. We helped him out for the effort.
And so.
So what are you grading your experience as far as East Africa, Kenya, here? Which place did you like better?
I hate to grade it because everybody's watching. Kenyans and Tanzanians are watching. But one thing I can say, and Kenyans will appreciate this, is that the traffic here is easier to deal with than in Kenya. You know, the people driving on the roads, they're a little less wicked drivers. Kenya's got some wicked NASCAR fucking F1 drivers around there. It's not the same here in Tanzania. So I like that aspect of it, even though I don't have a car yet. And I've driven in Kenya. I've never driven here in Tanzania. So take that as you may. It's just, you know, my preferences. And other than that, I have nothing to say. I deem them both nicely ran countries.
Okay.
For sure. You know, I mean, everybody's got their preferences to how you want authoritarianism, this and that, whatever your thought is in your thought, but I'm a foreigner, so I can appreciate how they treat foreigners in both countries, you know. I think for me, right now, I'm more at ease here in Dar es Salaam than I was in Mombasa. Mm-hmm. Nairobi's always been too much for me.
Hectic.
It's too much for me because, you know, being a California boy, I like things kind of at a slow pace. You know what I'm saying? So
I think maybe that's why I like it here in Tanzania, specifically where we're staying, like around Boko. Then we went to, where's that, on the way to Carico, what is that area?
Oyster Bay.
Oyster Bay. Did we go to Masaki at all?
Masaki. We drove through all those places, and we spent time in Mbezi Beach.
Mbezi Beach was nice. So I like that, the fact that you could have like Malibu style living, and you could afford it.
Definitely.
And it's nice, and you go to the beach every day with your family and hang out, and just a slower pace of life, but not slow where you would be bored to death. Like I still go to the club every night, stay out till 4.
Yeah, definitely. It's all good. It's all good. Everything is available here, and it's a good attitude and good infrastructure too as well. You know, I mean, some roads over here where we live at, that shit's not happening yet. But you just go 300 meters up, and then there's the road.
Yeah, they have to. That side of things, it is together.
Right.
Where they do have roads, where they do have things.
Right.
They were all well.
Right. It's not bad. I feel like you know, to compare Dar es Salaam to Mombasa is unfair because one economy is different than the other. You know, where Kenya is going to be more favorable in some ways
because they're capitalists.
Yeah, because of their economic level that they have. But then Dar es Salaam makes up for it in the ways of just sweetness, of population, you know what I mean, and helpfulness.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
my last question will be, since coming out here, living how you live with your experience, what is your opinion about Pan-Africanism and the idea, you know, maybe even Black people in America should be able to have some type of Pan-African passport we can come and go?
I think it's underrated, and I think it's underutilized, and I would blame the reliance on aid from Western countries as far as stopping African governments from undertaking their policies on a serious level and opening up Africa to African Americans and Africans from all aspects of Europe.
Yeah, all the diaspora.
Everybody in the diaspora who doesn't have African citizenship. The governments in Africa need to make that accessible to us on an African basis. We should not have to have visas to come here and give of ourselves, give of our knowledge to what is here.
So I would appreciate some type of exchange thing, right? So like if you're gonna, but don't make it harsh, like, oh, I gotta have 50,000, 100K to come out here. If you're gonna come out here and you promise to start a business and not try to get a job or take from our government system, then you can have this passport to come and go or this permanent visa, whatever it is.
Right.
You know, as long as you're going to add to our economy.
Right, I agree.
If you're going to come here and buy a home, cool, come.
I mean, just because you want to take a job and you make money, there shouldn't be no implications on you being able to come back home. I feel like, look at Israel. Look how much Israel's benefited from their policy of return. They benefited massively from that.
That's true.
Over the years. There should be a policy of return.
But Israel gets so much for that.
Yeah, they get aid.
Yeah, I don't want to dispel, you know, what they're doing as far as.
They get aid certainly from countries. They get probably the most foreign aid of all the countries in Africa.
But they're doing a religious, exactly. That's what I'm saying. They're doing a religious sort of protector thing. So they're getting different things for different reasons. But I'm saying as far as African countries, if I'm going to give up the Western aid in order to close my door and try to do my own thing, then we got to have something to.
They can't never get away from giving up Western aid. That's not an option. That's not an option giving up Western aid. I'm just saying there should be.
I mean, like Venezuela and places like that.
I mean, Venezuela is different though. Look how run down they are. I mean, their shit has come down since Maduro, since Chavez. Western countries don't want that socialistic atmosphere permeating the atmosphere. They want to keep that shit where it is, so they make it hard. Africa, socialism isn't so. I mean, it is, but it's not so popular like it is in Venezuela, and they just didn't want that to come over to Western society. I just feel like if you're an African president, there should be some type of way that you're being more inviting towards African Americans than what you are.
They've done it, like Nigeria, some other West Africans, they have the year of the return whole.
It should be like this.
But they had a money thing on it.
It should be like that standard for free. African Americans should be able to come and stay and live there. Tax-free, all that. Just make it easy for us to come here and build up the continent. I feel like they would benefit more than ever from that endeavor.
I agree, but I'm just saying they would have to have something that we're agreeing to do when we come to get that.
No, not necessarily.
Like,
Not
yeah, I'm
necessarily.
gonna start a store.
Just the
I'm gonna
mere,
do something
just the
like that.
mere influence of you being here is going to permeate throughout the society. You need to make that shit happen. Nothing guaranteed from us. Just let us come and go as we please. It's our goddamn. But you don't even do that for each other yet.
Yeah, so I was gonna say I don't imagine that happening. But
You don't even do
if we're
that.
gonna bring something, like if I say, okay, I'm gonna come to Africa, and I'm gonna start a grocery store.
Because
Butcher shop, whatever.
Egyptians can't even come here visa free.
Yeah.
They don't even have visa free travel within Africa. But I think that has something to do with Western countries and
I agree.
the racism that exists.
I agree.
That you're letting that shit permeate your laws and your standards that you're running with.
And they're giving you guidelines for how you're doing things
Right.
instead of you deciding on your own.
Exactly. Decide on your own to let African Americans back home. There's no reason why we should be cast out. And nobody knows, you can say we're West African, but that's not altogether true all the time.
Yeah, because of what they were telling me about. Even think about what I learned since I've been here, the Maasai. Yeah, there's Maasai in Kenya, there's Maasai here, Maasai. So yeah, if I'm just having this blood in me from this tribe or another, you know where the fuck they were at that time.
You don't know what's happening. It could be people from Namibia in America.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the fuck you know.
And especially with how slaves, even starting what I learned here with Tip and all this, they're bringing the slaves from all over to the West for you to pick them up.
That's right. That's right. It ain't no problem. If you got people for sale, you can get these motherfuckers anywhere. So I just feel like that's our inherent right as African Americans, as Africans from the diaspora, to be able to come back to Africa and contribute as we see fit.
Coming down.
Yeah, maybe not free like I'm saying, but with some type of more ease than what it is.
Yes, more ease. I should be able to buy something, purchase something, and then get. That's what I'm saying. If I'm willing to invest in your country in any way, buy a house, business.
There should be no stipulations to it. No stipulations.
But the stipulations come to America.
We're not running shit there. We don't do anything to have anything to do with running that government. We're not in control of that. You black people are, and we're black like you. Do something.
Help us out.
What the fuck?
The thing is, did you watch Who Killed Malcolm X?
Yes.
So that really hurt my feelings as a Malcolm X, aficionado. It really hurt my feelings. Black men killed Malcolm X. But in watching that, it made me understand more than I ever understood before. Malcolm X was the first African descendant of slaves, like ADOS, emissary, diplomat for our people.
And
traveling around the world, talking to different countries, talking to people, telling them about the state of ADOS people in America. Not black people, people of color.
And imagine his platform for that from the Nation of Islam, Elijah Muhammad. That's kind of hard to take.
So
it's kind of hard to take. I mean, it could have been from a much more educated, articulate point of view, even though he's articulate as hell. But I mean,
the platform that he's trying to use to do it would have been problems either way. Because he's trying to fly under the radar as far as taxes and all of these things.
It's not as far as taxes, just as far as the moral stuff that's going on within the nation. Even then, it was kind of apparent to people on the outside looking in. I mean, they had a lot of followers in African American, just because, but it wasn't the majority of African American, was it?
That's true. Just because of, like, even my grandma was like, people kind of want to be down, but I ain't no Muslim.
Yeah, see, so.
But still, that as far as the diplomatic thing, coming to countries, talking about our fight, saying, why something like that would make sense for us to be able to freely come and go. We don't have that anymore. We don't have a person that's even speaking to that from an American platform. We had Marcus Garvey, we had Malcolm X, and I haven't heard anything since then of any people.
International stage.
Back to Africa sort of thing, repatriation.
You had it, but it's been at such a minimal exposure level and a minimal following that it's not going to register. So now, it's, I'm not going to speak ill of anything that's going on in Black America. Everybody's trying hard. We all put our best foot forward. Unity is a big problem with us. Economic unity is a huge problem with us. Educational insight, like our insight into our educational system, how we can make that, the public educational system, benefit us as a people is lacking. It's lacking. That's the thing we were talking about today. You know what I mean? Making somebody like Bernie Sanders or AOC head of the Secretary of Education. You know, go radical with education because it needs to be radicalized. It needs to be changed in America if you want something to happen. So those are things that are kind of like outside of this conversation. But basically, come visit Africa. Start off in Tanzania if you're smart, or any East African country is a good way to start off. The economies are more stable and doing a little bit better than West Africa. And, you know, it's a good transition. I haven't been to West Africa, so I really can't say that as comparison wise, but I like coming here. And I feel like anybody would like coming here. It's the ease of travel.
Yeah, I had no problem from the LAX to here airport.
Yeah, West Africa's closer though.
Okay.
A lot closer, so, you know.
Try it out. On our next episode, we'll be in West Africa.
Yeah, on our next episode, we might be in Kampala or we're thinking about Montego Bay.
Oh yeah, Jamaica. I'm put my fingers crossed for Jamaica. They're gonna go to Uganda. This guy and Zeddy, who you'll see on the cooking stuff.
Yeah, we're going to Uganda in a couple of weeks. Check out Kampala. I hope your curfew's lifted by then. If not, hop a sauna. Right here.
Oh my God. Thanks for inviting me.
My baby came to Africa to see me. You dads out there, get your kid to Africa as soon as possible, huh?
Yeah.
Mwah.